Spoilers for Dressrosa and Egghead. And that's it. Got your ass. So this guy said if Garp is a hypocrite and evil, then any other Marine, including Fujitora and Kobe, also are. I don't fundamentally disagree, but this logic must be applied to everyone in the organization. Well, yeah, it is. That's kind of the larger point here. That's what a lot of people are actually pushing back on. The idea that many of these people are not evil monsters, but are complicit in varying degrees to an oppressive imperial system. A system that picks and chooses who is allowed to be human. See, I always argue for more nuance in this conversation. And part of that nuance is understanding that good intentions do not necessarily make you a good person. And to give my opinion on it, the best Marines are people like Dragon, who fight back when they learn the truth, or the undergirding of the sword, like Twin Rosnata. And the former category is where I believe people like Fujitora, Smoker, and Kobe will align themselves by the end of this story, either by leaving the Marines entirely, or my personal theory is that they will go one step beyond Garp and actually split the Marines off from the world government into two independent entities. And to speak on just these two examples that you brought up, because they are, like most Marines, super interesting character studies, Fujitora is very much a hypocrite, and he is the first to point that out. His style of justice is one that he helps as much as he's allowed to, protects people within the margins of the law, the loopholes. Fujitora, I would argue, is one of the kindest characters in the entire story, not even just within the Marines. He has one of my favorite, brief soliloquies in all of One Piece when he's asking what Luffy could possibly look like. A man so morally driven that he's blinded himself after seeing the horrors of the world, wishes for the first time since doing so that he could see the face of this kind savior, this hero of the people. And the beautiful irony in all of it is that man is a pirate. Fujitora feels this immense shame from being unable to save the people of Dressrosa because Doflamingo is a warlord and technically operating with the blessing of the world government. But once he reveals the birdcage and throws the country into chaos, this vice admiral points out that there is no way that Doflamingo can remain a warlord now, and they have full authority to arrest him. Fujitora refuses. And this scene is just phenomenal, man. Fuji says, "Haven't you been in the Navy for a long time? Are you telling me these cries of anger have fallen on deaf ears? Those aren't tears of sorrow, that's pure rage. Does the world government think itself to be God?" Fujitora is acknowledging that the world government and by extension the Marines are hypocrites. To think that they can control the lives of these people, let Doflamingo brutalize this country, and then swoop in as the heroes when he's finally caught. These aren't tears of sorrow, that's pure rage. Fujitora is saying that the situation at Dressrosa is not one that the Marines have a right to solve. It's really like this beautiful fucking thesis on the overreach of authoritarian power without accountability. I mean, you want to talk about nuance? He tells Sabo that the Navy are not the heroes today, and he tells Kirito that he's placing his bet on Luffy. Fujitora will free slaves at Marishwa, but only if the revs are there to break them out in the first place. On his own, like with Dressrosa, Fujitora cannot and will not free these people himself. That is not a condemnation of Fujitora the man, that is the reality of being a Marine. Fujitora abolished the warlord system, but he was only allowed to do that because the Seraphim were ready to be deployed, and because two Reverie-affiliated nations had evidence presented against Doflamingo and Crocodile. He would not have been allowed to remove the warlords without this context. And we have to remember that Fujitora was drafted. He did not volunteer to join the Marines. Fujitora helps where he can, but as Marine, he's not able to take that first step towards saving people unless it's co-signed by the world government. Fujitora is a man who's chained to the Marines. Now onto the example of Kobe. Kobe, I think, is our best example of a person who's individually very kind and honorable, but fully indoctrinated into aiding and abetting an authoritarian system. I personally see Kobe as one of the most incorruptible characters in the entire story. But what we're seeing is that a lack of information and effective propaganda can mitigate those values. Kobe doesn't know that there's corruption. I think if Garp told Kobe the truth about Imu and the world government, he would leave the Marines, or he would try to change the system from within. But because he doesn't know about it, he isn't doing that. Vegapunk's broadcast is the tipping point. The moment where the true evil in this world is revealed to so many, and unlike what they were told, that true evil is not the pirates. Pirates are not systematically erasing people because of their ethnicity. They're not disappearing islands. Pirates are not literally sinking the world and drowning millions of people. Once Kobe finds out the truth, I believe he will definitely switch sides and fight alongside the Straw Hats. I personally think all of Sword will either defect or try to take over Marine leadership in order to do this, in order to turn the Marines as an institution into something that represents more than just the blunt instrument of the world government, which is what they are today. So yes, while Kobe is complicit now, I believe that Kobe and Sword will have to evolve before the final war, and that they will end up on the right side of history when all is said and done. Kobe and Helmeppo are not destined to become the next Garp and Bogart. They're going to be better than them.